Welcome to the Influential Motherhood Podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Duncan, and my dream is to inspire moms to pursue their goals and help them make a difference in their world. I'm a mom of 2 young boys, a wife to my high school sweetheart, and a lawyer. This show is a place to hear stories of moms working hard to have a positive influence in their profession or their community, and sometimes both, even as they juggle their responsibilities at work, at home, and to their children. You'll get tangible, practical tips for managing the chaotic world of motherhood and work. Come along as we hear these stories and feel inspired to step outside of our comfort zone as leaders and as a positive force within our communities. I believe that moms can change the world. Hey, so on today's episode of Influential Motherhood, I am here with Lindsay Northen, who is an actress in New York City with she has a young girl, a young daughter who is about the same age as my son Brooks, and her husband is an actor. And Lindsay is on Broadway. She's on TV. And Lindsay, I was watching your demo reel earlier, and it was just fun to watch you. I think it was like CSI Miami, and then a commercial. And the way you switched roles, which is obviously your job, was just it was just fun to watch. So, welcome to the podcast. And
I'm
Lindsay
so glad to be here.
Yeah, Lindsay's a fellow Elon alum. We've had a couple other Elon alums on the show, so it was getting to be kind of an Elon thing, I guess. And here we are.
Husband should be home any minute now, because he had tech rehearsal in New Jersey for a musical he's doing. So he rehearsed from like 11 to 9:30, I guess.
Wow, that's a long day.
He had a long day today too.
Wow.
But normally we do like a takey turnsies on the sleeping.
Because
if we didn't, we would get about 5 hours of sleep a night.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people out there get that much sleep, and they make it work. But we found that I found that I'm not like doing my best work at any of the things with that much sleep.
Well, especially because the shows are so physically demanding. I mean, I'm sure you get like some
you have to have a lot of
accustomed
energy
to it, but
you use a lot of energy physically and emotionally, mentally doing a Broadway show. So it is a little different than a lot of other jobs where you could just, have a seat at your desk and get your work done.
Yeah.
You really owe it to all those people that spent way too many dollars to see Wicked to do a really, really good job.
Yeah.
So I drink a lot of coffee and eat sugar.
Yeah. So one of my favorite things when I first found you on Instagram was you eating snacks
that was strangely popular during the
show. Yeah, during the show. So like how did that get started? And I feel like
you're the second person to ask me about this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Somebody else I was doing
snacks.
This reading with today was like, I love those videos. So Wicked said I can't do that anymore because we have a new social media policy where we're not allowed to do anything on social media during the show. But that started, which was really fun, and people liked it because they liked hearing the show going on in the background. And Wicked's been running for 15 years, so the content, like social media content of just the show and the production photos and all of those things, like everybody's seen it already. So, so a lot of the Wicked fans really love to see like what does everybody do back there, and what what we do and what's interesting to people is like The Wizard and I is a super long, epic, and super hard song that the woman playing Elphaba sings. And usually I run out of time and can't eat dinner before the show. And there's that big, long song that I'm not in. And so I would go and eat as much of my dinner as I could get in my mouth during that song. And then I'd run back upstairs. But I would also just enjoy the person singing the song in the monitor. And so I started videotaping myself doing that. And people loved watching it.
It was all the rage on the internet for sure.
Who knew?
I know. I know.
And this made-up character from the Ukraine that I do named Vlad with a pair of huge sunglasses and my mob wig from
Oh, man. Well, maybe Vlad can make an appearance on the podcast.
Vlad will make a comeback as soon as possible, but I have to do it before before half hour.
Yeah.
So I have to literally get my babysitter to come early to make Vlad happen at this point, or stay late. So now it is harder, and technically cost me about $15.
Oh, well, because the babysitter needs to come early, right?
So I'm going to make it happen, though.
I love hearing about your day because I asked Instagram, what questions people had for you, even people who didn't know you, but, kind of hearing a little bit about your story. And I think what is most fascinating to people who are moms, maybe working those, 9-to-5 desk type office jobs, is just even in our minds, just the logistics that must go into two actors with a child in New York City, and knowing that, you have all these shows and auditions and all the things that have to fall into place for your family to just function and get through and have butter and, all the things that you...
It's all about the butter.
It's all about the butter. You got to have the butter.
Sometimes you run out of butter. But so I think my husband just got home. Jared, say hi.
Oh, hi, Jared.
Jared's home.
Say hi to the people.
He's enjoying a sparkling water, which is his favorite.
Oh, hi. You're on a audio.
Hi, Jared.
Awesome.
Oh, can you?
Hi, I'm having a little bubbly. Wait a second. Let me get one ear in. Hi there. It's me, Jared.
Hi, Jared.
I'm talking
Welcome to the podcast.
I hear that you guys are talking about butter, and that sounds delicious.
I ran out of time today. I had to go get butter, and I was almost late for my rehearsal. Anyway, so I would say that, this job is hard, but not harder than other people who are working moms. It's just, a different kind of hard.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, probably as hard, but just in different places, in different ways. So I think one of the hardest things about being a working actor mom is that my schedule is somewhat unpredictable, and I can't always plan the childcare situation.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of last minute asking people to babysit. I did it today on my lunch break. I had one, and since I haven't hired a full-time nanny, because I also can't tell that person, I can guarantee you this many hours, because I don't know.
Yeah.
The people that I hire are almost all actors, or I have one babysitter that's a composer. And so I can't expect them to be available all the time, because I'm not. Yes, thanks. Jared was like, "Can I show walk the dog?" Hey, babe, where can you plug that in for me? Thanks, hon. So I have babysitters who are also I have this opportunity. I can't babysit anymore, and then I have to cover them. That happened today. And then, commercial auditions and TV auditions happen always the next day. I don't know what that's about, but
oh, wow.
It's almost always between 4:30 and 6.
Not 10 and 2 when she's at school, right?
No, I find out about the audition. Sometimes they're between 10 and 2.
Okay.
I find out that I have an audition at 5:30 p.m. And they're like, "Can you go or what?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, I gotta find a babysitter." And so I always just sort of say, "Yes, I can do it," and then I figure out the babysitter situation.
How to do it?
So the key there is to build an army of super awesome babysitters, so that you have a huge list. And sometimes I'll go all the way to number 8, number 9 person on the list. Yeah, before I get somebody who can do it.
And so your daughter has really grown up around the acting world, and she's grown up in New York City. Does she understand the jobs that y'all have? I mean, in terms of I don't know. She's been to your shows, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So she definitely has been around the theater. She's been to auditions with me, though I audition very poorly if I can see her.
Okay. Why do you think that is?
I'm a part of this Broadway moms Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Broadway Baby Mamas.
Oh, I love that.
And we all talk to each other about these challenges and ask each other questions, and it's such an amazing support resource for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking about this the other day on that Facebook group. Some people very successfully bring their babies, children, toddlers, everybody to auditions. I do that, and I can't separate my mom brain. Like, I can't access my actor brain if my mom brain is working.
Yep.
So, like,
that makes
if
sense.
she's in the room, I can't focus well enough on being an actor.
Yeah.
And sadly,
like the character that you need to be.
The character I need to be, or what I need to do. My brain will always, like, become a mom brain if I can see her.
Mm-hmm.
The other day I had an audition and she was in another room and it worked out okay. But, like, yeah, I can't do it. So my best case scenario is to find a babysitter.
Yeah. So is she interested in acting at all, or is
she is not?
She's not. Okay.
And not yet. I mean, people are always like, "Oh, we'll see," and I'm like, I don't know. She seems real sure. Like, if you ask her, like, do you want to be an actor? She'll be like, no. Like, she's like, no way. She has auditioned with me for a handful of commercials because I told my agents and my manager, like, if there's a commercial, which is like a one-day kind of a job.
Right.
You're working for one day. If there's a commercial where they want a mom and their actual child, like, Georgia can audition for that. So she has a work permit in the event that she were to book that.
Mm-hmm.
And she booked a couple commercials when she was a baby, like 6 months old.
Oh, yeah.
But now she does it, she goes to those auditions with me as, like, a favor. And, like, that's how I word it. I'm like, hey, can you do me a favor and do this thing with me? Because if she were to book that and I was to book that, I could possibly pay for, like, a year of her college.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm going to make her bored and maybe miserable for one day if it means I could pay for her to go to Elon for 1 year.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But I
Absolutely.
wouldn't want to push her into doing this all the time because she's clearly not interested.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
That's interesting.
I can't wait to see what she's going to do.
I know. I was going to say,
like, I don't
what
know
does she say? What does she say that she wants to be?
I mean, I don't know if you've noticed this with your son, who's literally exactly the same age.
Yep.
But she doesn't seem obviously interested in any one particular anything. She's, like, down for whatever.
Yeah.
Which is a cool trait to have, personality-wise.
Yep. I completely agree.
I think that's cool. I wish I was more like that. She would tell you she wants to be a police officer, princess, scientist.
Okay. One of those, I see.
I think she wants to be a police officer, and I think she would make a good one.
Yeah.
But I think she doesn't like the uniform.
Yeah.
And so that's where the princess factor comes in.
I can appreciate that.
I think ideally she would be a princess, or like a police officer dressed as a princess.
That is awesome. So my son is actually, it's funny that like he should come spend a week with you because he wants to be an actor. I mean, you ask him and he wants to be an actor. And so I work in career services at Elon. And so I made him a resume. And,
awesome.
He makes up all these movies and shows. And so I put all of these like self-directed, you know, where I'm like, you are the actor and director and writer and costume designer and casting director. And so I have created this resume that he asked me about basically once a week. Like, when can we give someone my acting resume?
Managers, and my manager represents children very successfully. Managers are looking for your kid.
Yeah.
Like, they're looking for that kid that is thinking about this all the time and thinks this is super fun and just is clearly really into it. And Georgia is just not that, you know?
Yeah. Well, and that's okay.
If you ever are looking for a manager, I definitely have a hookup. But,
Don't tell him that because like, we got to give it a couple more years, Brooks. And,
well, maybe let him would you let him audition for a musical or a play at Elon if it had a kid in it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to do like community theater, I think. And he has to be 7 for the Greensboro. Yeah. So
which theater in Greensboro is it?
It's just the community theater of Greensboro.
That's awesome. I didn't have a community theater. That would have been great.
I know. Well, and they do great shows that involve kids and adults. And so
awesome. My husband did a lot of that when he was a kid.
So I wanted to ask you, how did you get to this point? So Lindsay now is on, in Wicked on Broadway and in auditioning regularly and in commercials and TV shows. But how did this start for you as far as a career?
Well, I mean, let's see. The Cliff's Notes version of that is, I just went to regular public school and was involved in chorus and really liked to sing and involved in musicals. And then I decided when I auditioned for Elon, I was definitely serious about pursuing this as a career. And definitely my time at Elon shaped me a lot as a professional. And I also did summer stock every summer, which I wouldn't have really had access to if I hadn't been at Elon. Elon sort of facilitates all those auditions for the Southeastern Theater Conference, which is this conference of summer stock theaters. And I think I probably learned just as much doing that as I did in college. That was an amazing opportunity. So that by the time I had graduated from college, I already had 4 summers of professional theater experience.
That's awesome.
So that was an incredible opportunity.
Yeah.
And then I, on the winter break of my senior year of college, I auditioned. They were doing A Little Night Music, and it was like my favorite musical.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm obviously perfect for this role of Anne in A Little Night Music. And I didn't get it. I didn't even get into the show, and the level of devastation and drama was so high.
Oh, no.
And but it was it was totally meant to be. It was definitely, divine intervention, because I instead fulfilled my religion credit or something instead in winter term. And went to New York.
Winter term is always good for
Winter term, what's up? And went to New York and auditioned for The Sound of Music, which I booked Maria in the national tour of The Sound of Music.
That's amazing.
And that kickstarted really everything.
Yeah. And so then you landed in New York City.
Yeah. After I did the tour, and I thought I
Okay.
was famous because I was Maria in the non-equity national tour of The Sound of Music, and I was mistaken. I was not famous. So I had to start over, and I did what everybody does and did a lot of children's theater, and got my equity card, and then did a show at the Goodspeed Opera House. I did Pirates of Penzance, and then I got the audition for Wicked. And I've been in Wicked for a very long time.
Do you, and how, I know that, a lot of the roles have changed. So like Jenna Claire just came into the Glinda role.
Claire.
Our fellow Elon.
Yay!
Hello. Yeah.
She's incredible. She's like
my
Glinda
gosh.
alive. I think that Jenna Claire is the most like Glinda actual person I've ever met.
She seems, I've never met her,
She's
but she just seems
shoo-in.
like she is always Glinda.
Yeah, that was some easy casting.
Yes,
right
absolutely. But so these roles have changed, the actresses that are coming into the roles and the actors, changing out. And you've probably seen a lot of that. How have those changes affected your experience?
I think that has actually been a cool opportunity for me. So, every time we get a new Elphaba, a new Glinda, a new Madame Warble, I mean, all these roles change. Really, we have a huge amount of changeover at Wicked. Also, people get hurt all the time at Wicked, so we get new people when people are on medical leave. It's, physically dangerous. And every time we get a new person and I get the chance to rehearse with them or go on with them, even just in the ensemble, I have to adjust. Yeah. And that is a cool challenge, and it just reminds you to stay present, which is the goal, right? Like in live theater, the goal is to create this new experience every single time, and that's what makes it special. Yeah. That's what makes it better than just watching Netflix. Right. Because
you feel like you're seeing the one and only.
Yeah. Well, you're in this room, this enormous room, with 1,800 other people, and only you guys are going to have that experience on that one day. Yep. And it's something you're all sharing, and it's live, and it's special, and it is different every time. And every time we get a new Elphaba, it shifts. I mean, we just got a new Elphaba. Her name is Hannah Corneau, and she's fantastic. And she really couldn't be any more different than the last one we had.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't even explain how, but it's, Jessica Vosk was the last Elphaba we had, and she was phenomenal and like hugely popular with fans. And Hannah Corneau, this is her Broadway debut. It's just like this hugely different thing, and it has shifted the show and the energy. And you as an actor, you have to shift.
Yeah,
because the show has changed, and I like it.
Yeah, that's
cool.
awesome. I think it's cool that you've been able to, stay challenged through it all.
And that's part of the challenge. That's a big challenge when it comes to being in a show for this long, is finding opportunities to challenge yourself and finding places to make it different and stay alive in it. Because definitely I could do it on autopilot, but I shouldn't.
Right.
So I try not to.
And so we haven't actually said what you kind of made reference to it. So tell the people what you do in Wicked on Broadway.
Hi, people. I am in the ensemble of Wicked, so I play a lot of little parts, and then I understudy Glinda.
So what does that mean? Tell us, unsophisticated folks like me. What does that mean?
That means at Wicked on Broadway, there is a standby, and there are 2 understudies for Glinda.
Okay.
So a lot of people got to go down before I end up as Glinda, but you'd be surprised how often it happens.
Yeah.
And so if the standby for Glinda is not available due to injury, illness, vacation, personal days, or metro traffic, and the Glinda is not available, then I might go on, or the other understudy might go on. And sometimes it happens hours before the show. Sometimes I find out, a couple of weeks before. That's very rare. And then one time I found out in the middle of the show that
Oh my goodness. What happened?
She got a migraine.
Oh.
And she thought she was going to throw up.
Oh.
You don't want to be Glinda.
No way.
Think you might throw up.
No way.
The bubble alone is a problem there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you do? You just threw on the Glinda clothes?
On stage, and I said, listen, here's the plan. We're going to exit, and you're going to tell the stage manager that you're out, and I'm going to go to your dressing room. And I figured someone would come and talk to me, and they did.
Oh, perfect.
And it took about 7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And I had to change clothes. I had to change wig. I mean, like, we're talking like all the clothes.
Yeah,
like
full
underwear,
blown.
Tights, shoes,
the
microphone.
the curls,
all
right?
Of that.
All of that. Okay.
But we have so many people that help us do that it was like a big team effort, and it got done. I definitely had shaky, nervous person voice though.
Oh.
For the first song, and she goes, "It's really a sharp, don't you think? Black is this year's pink," and it was like, it was very shaky.
But then you probably got right in your groove, and
I got in the groove by the Ozdust Ballroom. I was like, "We got this."
Yeah, that's awesome. So, as far as what you thought being a working mom in this, Broadway and acting and having a husband who's an actor, is it what you anticipated when you were entering into motherhood, or have there been any big surprises for you?
My dog is barking at me right now.
Oh, hi, dog.
Hey, Berkeley. Yep, there he goes. He said hi.
Hi.
I think he's hungry. I think that my career is definitely different than I guess what I imagined the trajectory to be when I was at Elon. So when you go to musical theater college, you're I think there's 15 people in each class at Elon, and all 15 of them think that they are gonna be on Broadway and win Tony Awards and be stars, and it doesn't really go in that perfect arc for really anyone. Very few people.
Yeah.
But what I do have is a lot more than a lot of people have. So I feel really, 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 really blessed to be able to have a family and have had this consistent job for so long. And so in that way, I guess that is sort of what I expected.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey friends, popping into this fun episode to remind you to take a quick second to subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. And don't forget, you can also sign up for bonus episodes and content from my monthly newsletter at melissaduncan.com/join. Thanks for listening, and let's get back to the show. Yeah. So some of the other questions that came in on Instagram, because this was a popular, you're a hot topic as far as, the questions that were coming in. So people want to know, what is it like living in New York City with a young child?
Yeah. So you know what I said earlier about how like it was hard, but just different hard?
Yep.
I think that having a kid in New York City is hard, but different hard.
Yes.
So my sisters live in North Carolina and Savannah, Georgia, respectively. And they both have kids. My older sister has 2 daughters. My younger sister has 3 daughters and 1 on the way. And I hear about them shuttling them around in the car, in the car seat, and all the things that they deal with. And my younger sister is a stay-at-home mom, and I'm like, that sounds like super hard to me sometimes. And I'm like, gosh, that looks hard. And then what I do is hard too. It's just different hard. Yeah. So when my younger sister brought her kids to visit me, she was like, gosh, this is like impossible. But I was like, it's just different. So I don't have to worry about things with a car because I don't have a car. But then I have to deal with a small child on public transportation. So like my 5-year-old often has to walk like 2 miles in a day. Yeah. Which is, as you can probably imagine, super slow.
Yes.
So you're having to factor in like, I have to get to this, like I've had to take her to my physical therapy or acupuncture doctor's appointments or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, that's like a mile there and a mile back, and I can walk there in 15 minutes, but it's going to take at least 30 minutes for her. Yeah. So that can be really difficult, dealing with like the inconsistencies of public transportation is difficult. Strollers in New York City is a huge deal. I have 1 child. If you have more than one and you need a double stroller, that's very difficult. Yeah, nobody has the side-by-side double stroller in my neighborhood. It's like not a thing because the sidewalk is just too narrow.
Yeah, I feel like it would be impossible.
Buildings are very old in New York City. We don't have an elevator. Yeah. I remember when we just finished the stroller phase. You use a stroller for a lot longer in New York, too, because of the 1.5-mile walk situation. Yeah. But carrying, like, the reality of, like, getting back to your apartment with a baby who's asleep in a stroller, and knowing that you have to go up 2 flights of stairs. Yeah. And you're like, do I take them out of the stroller? Do I try to carry the stroller with the baby in it up the stairs? So a lot of times I would take her out of the stroller, put her in a safe place, aka her crib, and then I have to go downstairs and get the stroller and bring it up because somebody will steal it.
That is crazy.
Well, they might. Yeah. Her stroller has been stolen once. Oh man. From the lobby of our building.
Wow.
To which I like to think if you're in a place where you have to steal a stroller, you probably need it more.
Yeah, you need it. Yep. That is very true.
I decided that person needed that stroller more than I did, and I just hope that they learned how to fold it up because it was really hot.
Without pinching their fingers off, right?
Yeah, those things are hard in New York City. Having less space, like toy storage. Every time we get close to Christmas or her birthday, I have to find toys to give away because we don't have room to just get more. Yeah. And I remember my sister who lives in Savannah was like, "Oh, that's so sad," and I was like, "Well, there's so many great things that she gets to do because she lives in New York City. Like, she gets to go to all these museums, and there's so many fun things to do. But yeah, you can't have a lot of stuffed animals if you live in Midtown.
Yeah. Well, like you said, though, the experiences are, I think some that a lot of kids don't get to experience.
And also, she doesn't know any different.
Right.
So, and people will ask me a lot of times, like, what's it like to raise a child in New York City? Isn't that hard? And I'm like, well, I've never raised a child anywhere else.
Yeah. So you don't know any different.
Yeah, I mean, I was a child in North Carolina, and it was awesome. But I've never actually had a kid anywhere else, so I think that actually is on my side there, because I don't know any different.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing to do, or where's your favorite spot as a non-tourist in New York City?
Her favorite thing to do, if you asked Georgia, age 5.5, the best thing to do in New York City with kids, she would say the Color Factory.
Oh, I've seen pictures and heard of that. It looks amazing.
There's a lot of these things popping up in New York City because, and this is genius. If you want to get rich, do this. Create something for families to do, or tourists with children to do in New York City when it is raining or cold.
Yep. And they don't have to walk around outside.
That's active.
Yep.
So a lot of these things have popped up. The Color Factory, the Trolls Experience, there's pop-up ice cream museums where you're essentially going through what is probably an old abandoned warehouse that they turned into this thing. You go through these different things with different activities. She loves the Color Factory. She loves the Children's Museum, which is a good 6 and under kind of an option.
Yeah.
But definitely her jam is a playground for hours and hours all year. I definitely have stood in a playground in the middle of freezing rain with an umbrella because she wants to play there. I'm like, why? But yeah, we love a park anywhere we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of our favorite things to do. We like to eat ramen, and I'll take her to my favorite sushi restaurant, and she'll get ramen, and I'll get sushi, and it's fun. We go to the movies. We live on the west side of Manhattan, so we're 2 long blocks from the Hudson River, which has a park, technically, with a bike path that goes all the way from the very bottom of New York City to the George Washington Bridge, which is the very top, or close to the top, 181st. And we have a tandem bike.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's one of our favorite things. And there's all sorts of playgrounds over there scattered around that park as well. And a carousel. And so we'll go and ride the bike over there. That's one of her favorite things to do.
How fun.
But hashtag New York City probs, I have to take the bike apart so that it'll fit in this area under the stairs outside of my door, and I have to take it downstairs in 2 pieces, put it back together, and then take down anything we want to take with us, and then it's a high maintenance.
That's a lot of work to go on a bike ride.
This is no riding your bike out of your garage. It's you got to have a solid 3-hour block to make this happen.
And if Georgia is like Brooks, my 5.5-year-old, if you plant the seed that we're going to go on a bike ride.
Oh, you have to do it.
You got to go. You don't have 2.5 hours.
There's no taker-backers.
No.
Right? Yeah.
And he's standing by the door snapping his fingers come on, Mom, what are we doing?
Yep.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So
and then she wants to help, but really you want her to sort of get out of the way because the bike's really heavy. Yeah. It ran into your shin, it hurts a little bit, and you're sweating. It's hot.
And she's standing a little too close. And
yeah. And she has 49 questions, and I found a penny, and can you get it? And I'm I'm holding a 50-pound weird bike tandem thing. No, I can't get that penny, and it's dirty. Don't touch that. Yeah. So,
that's funny.
But all of that happens, and it's always worth it. But now she's old enough where she can hold the door open.
Yes. Those little things make a big difference.
It makes a big difference. Yeah, but that's
awesome.
one of our favorite things to do, for sure.
I love that. I love that. So as we start to wrap up, what would you say? I think this has been just a great, insight, and I love your perspective about it's hard. It's hard, but it's just different hard. So what would you say? I ask all moms this. What's your favorite mom hack? So what's the hack that when the Northen Bradshaw family is like, it's a chaotic day like today, everybody's running in a million directions, you're going to whip this hack out and it's going to help everybody stay on track?
I was talking about this the other day. One of the things that I would recommend to people, especially if their kids are still really little, is because we like to travel. We love to travel. It's definitely our jam. It's what we love to do. And so we told Georgia that an iPad is only for an airplane.
Oh, nice.
Or like an airport.
Yep.
Or, and so it's like this huge special novelty thing. And, of course she watches tons of TV. We're like Disney Junior all the time, especially on the weekend. But the iPad being like, the magical computer / television that a child can hold in their hands, we saved for only those times. So we can buy like 5 hours on an airplane because she is so amazed by the iPad.
Yeah.
So that is probably one hack / thing that I'm really, really glad I did.
Yeah. So she's not asking for it all the time.
No, because she thinks it's only for the airplane.
Yeah, that was smart.
They only work. iPads only work in airports.
That is so smart.
So I'm really glad I did that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else mom hack wise.
That's a pretty good one though.
Yeah.
For a family that travels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you're ever in let's see, I have a lot of like Disney hacks. We're like a big Disney family.
Yeah.
One of them is like your experience at Disney World can be like 400% better if you plan it way in advance and like do that whole like fast pass thing like 60 days out. Like we're setting alarms for like when they open.
For the fast passes?
Yeah, the fast passes. And if you get there when the park opens, you can ride like 10 things in the first hour.
That's amazing.
That's probably one of my favorite mom hacks.
What is her favorite ride at Disney World?
Currently, I would say Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Ah, mine too. I love the Mine Train.
That is a good one.
It is a good one.
She just got old enough to ride Space Mountain, and I was like, it's going to be too scary. She's going to hate it. Yeah. And she loved it.
Okay.
But I still think Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Babe, would you say Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is still George's favorite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He concurs.
When she rode Space Mountain, she said, I want to do it again immediately. We were still on the ride.
Oh, she wanted to do it again immediately.
Yeah.
Rode Space Mountain. But yeah, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train forever.
Yeah. She'll never outgrow that one. I fully support that one.
Yeah.
So what do you feel like is next for you? What's on your list of goals as Lindsay, who is both a mom and a wife and an actress, over the next year or two?
Oh my gosh. So actor people are in the constant like job interview, job search stage of life. It like never ends. So you're always looking for the next thing, and you can't really plan on it. But I will say that having been in Wicked for a really long time, which I'm very grateful for, I'm definitely excited about working on something new. So I have started working on like developmental things, like this reading I'm doing right now, and I'm trying to get into another show, and I'm also just really excited about all of the on-camera stuff I've been able to do, which is tough. It's tough to get people to even let you audition for TV and film when you're sort of known as a music theater actor.
That's interesting. Yeah.
But I'm slowly getting there. So that I'm excited about hopefully doing more of that. If I could say what my ideal next job would be, it would be to be a series regular on some kind of sitcom or comedy television show.
Yeah.
To get to be a part of the whole season story.
Yeah.
Of a TV show and be on that set with the same people every day or every week for even just one season.
Yeah, and really like build the character.
And build it, and create it. That would be the goal.
Yeah. Oh, well, I will hope that for you. And I love that you take people along, on your journey and online and that you let us peek into this part of your life.
I hope
it's
it
fun
encourages people. And I hope that just like all other moms, like I hope that, and especially working moms, I hope that while I'm trying to get there and while I'm trying to do those things, I'm also able to create as magical and special and of a childhood experience for my daughter as possible, where she feels like she's a priority and she feels like, we're doing things for her and trying to make accommodations for her, but also trying to do things for ourselves. It's like that balance I'm always trying to strike, of doing a good job at all the things.
Yeah. Well, and, I think a lot of us who are working moms and whatever that looks like, whether you're on Broadway or you work in an office or you work overnight, in a hospital, I think we all are thinking about, well, how is my work going to, what is my work going to teach my child? Because I think no matter what your work looks like, and even for moms who don't work outside the home, because I sure couldn't be a stay-at-home mom. I think that's the hardest job there is.
That's a 24-hour
Oh my gosh,
day.
24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And, for those moms, like what they're able to teach their kids about all the things they have to juggle. It's just, I think it's just neat to think about all the ways that we can teach our kids important lessons, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. Like you just, you teach. So,
everybody's doing our best.
Yeah, exactly. And there has to be a lot of grace.
When I do mess up, which I do, I like to be honest with her about it, and because I think that's important too. Where I'm like, you know what? I'll say to her like, I wish I had done that differently.
Yeah.
I wish I hadn't done that, or I'm sorry about that. I messed that up. I'm gonna do it better next time. And she'll be like, Mommy. She likes to rub it in a little bit. But I like to give her that moment. I'm like, I'm gonna let you win for a minute there.
Yeah, I love that. So one, I know I said that was the last question, but there was one that came in that I don't want to forget because this was on my mind too. So let me ask one more question and then we'll be done.
Okay,
so one question that came in, and I thought, I've wondered that too, for moms on Broadway who are in these shows that are so physically demanding, what is it like to be pregnant in a Broadway show?
Really weird.
Yeah, I was going to say, it has to be weird. And how far into your pregnancy do you go, and what does that look like?
One thing that we've had a lot of moms at Wicked, so I've seen a lot of examples of this.
Mm-hmm.
The hardest thing is that Wicked as a show is trying to run and do its thing. It's this huge corporate machine and very successfully, entertaining the masses. And they're like, so when are you leaving? When are you coming back? What do you need? And you're like, I don't know. I've never been pregnant before. In a musical, we don't know. So that's one really hard thing is that you feel this pressure to tell them how long it's going to be until you look pregnant. Can you imagine someone saying, so how long will it be until I can visually tell you're pregnant? No, I don't know.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And it also, even if you have kids already, you don't know this time how long it's going to be until you look pregnant. You also feel the pressure to not appear pregnant.
Yeah.
So I remember feeling really self-conscious about that, and I was like, they're going to make me leave early. There's no paid maternity leave, so that's a financial concern.
Yeah.
If they have me leave before I plan to leave, I don't have income for even longer. We also, our income, our health insurance is based on weeks worked in our union, so you could lose your health insurance.
That's terrifying.
So that was very stressful. But what I did is I relied on the support and the information from people who had already been pregnant in Wicked. And fortunately, there were 2 of them in the show at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's tons of us, who can give each other advice. We have that Broadway Facebook mom
Yeah,
group.
that's awesome. That's great that y'all have that.
Incredible
What a great
resource.
support.
Yeah. But I remember being in an understudy rehearsal as Glinda and being like, I feel like someone else is here because someone was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her name is Georgia.
Her name is Georgia, and she was there. And she was in the show for 5.5 months.
That's awesome.
So I think I was almost 6 months pregnant before I left.
Okay. And they hold your spot while you're gone?
They'll hold your spot for up to a year. You can take a year of maternity leave.
Okay. But it's unpaid.
Yeah. Now, at this point, New York State has paid family leave for moms and dads and people who are adopting children, fostering children.
That's great.
Paid family leave also applies to people who have ill relatives that they need to leave the show and take care of. And you get paid a portion of your salary for, I believe, up to 12 weeks. So that's a huge step for New York State. But, we can still do a lot better.
Absolutely.
I think I did a job in Prague once, and I met an actor who lived there, and his wife was on a maternity leave, and they will pay for you to have a baby, really, in Prague. You get your full salary for, I believe it is 2 or 3 years.
Holy moly.
Because they wanted to
2 or 3 years. That's
women
amazing.
to have babies and work.
That is amazing.
We can do better.
Can you imagine?
It'd be totally awesome.
Yeah. I can't wrap my head around that. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thanks for sharing that, because that's one that came in, and when it came in, I thought, I've wondered that too. And so
they have to alter your costumes as you go, and they have to stay flexible, and it's weird, and you do feel self-conscious, and you feel like you're putting people out,
Yeah.
But you're not. You know what?
No.
People in every profession have babies, and if we didn't, no one would come to see the show.
Right.
Because lots of people are born and come and see Wicked. So you're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, Lindsay, thank you so much for sharing your story, and for I think the inspiration that you've given, even for non-Broadway moms, in the perspective that you have on as far as the challenges that all moms face. Thanks for tuning in for another inspiring episode of the Influential Motherhood Podcast. Be sure to follow my own journey in motherhood and work at Melissa Duncan JD on Instagram, and follow the behind the scenes of the podcast at Influential Motherhood on Instagram and Facebook. If you're enjoying the Influential Motherhood Podcast, please take a second to leave a rating or review in iTunes. It is how you can help other moms find the show so they can be inspired by these stories. See you next week.